Hi, good morning. I am Chris Wessels with MTB Trail Review. This morning riding with Dan. Got my buddy Mark over here, and Sunglass Rob will be joining us shortly. While we're waiting for him and getting things set up, we're going to do a quick gear check. So today I'm on my Trek Stash 7. This is a 29 plus hardtail. Really fun trail bike. Borderline cross country, but it's got a little bit more slack, a little bit more travel. And the geometry just allows you to do a little bit more with it. For our gear, I'm just going with my normal half helmet. I've got my fanny pack and my XC knee pads. I would say that this ride is knee pad optional. If you're someone who is more prone to falling or you are a newer rider, I would strongly recommend them, as Black Mountain is very rocky. If you're a more advanced rider or someone who just doesn't fall very much, you're probably fine. So I had a little bike debate this morning. Should I bring my Enduro full suspension or should I bring my hardtail? As I said, Black Mountain is very rocky. It's very technical. But with this particular hardtail, because of the plus size tires, especially in the 29 format, I get a lot of rollability, and it actually does really well on the rocks. So normally I would not recommend a hardtail for this ride, but if you have the right one, it's a lot of fun. Dan is going to be on his nuke-proof Mega today. A little bit more of an enduro setup. Definitely has the full suspension. He also had a little debate on whether or not he wanted to bring his hardtail, but ultimately went with the nuke-proof, as his is not a plus bike, just because of the rocks. So we're going to finish gearing up, and we will get riding shortly. Alright, so we're about to start our ride. We're at Black Mountain. We're at the end of Sun Devil Way. Going to hit this trailhead, which gives you access to a lot of the trails. We have access to Nighthawk, Miners Loop, Manzanita, and all the little connectors in between. I'm with Sunglass Rob today.
Yo.
He is my Black Mountain expert. This is his local ride. So
Literal backyard.
Literal backyard. I'll be referring to him a lot today. A couple of need-to-knows for this trail. Number one, it's rocky. It's very rocky. So as I said before, it's a knee pad optional depending on your skill level, your ability to stay upright, and just your comfort in technical riding.
I would say knee pad mandatory.
Depending on who you are, knee
Elbow
pad mandatory.
Extra water. Gets hot quickly.
A lot of climbing. No shade.
Yeah.
And a lot of climbing in a very short distance. So if you're going to come ride Black Mountain, be prepared to climb.
They should really call it Black Rock.
Yeah.
It's just one big rock garden.
Alright, so we're going to get this climb started, and once we get going a little bit, we'll be back on.
Later!
So we're still in our first climb. Just giving you an idea of what a lot of the trail looks like. More technical rocky stuff than anything else. Really fun coming down. Kind of pain in the butt going up. And it'll definitely get that cardio going. More to come. Alright, so we're nearing the end of our climb. Well, the first part of our climb at least. Coming to our first intersection. And here you have options. So we are going to take a right and go this way. If you take a left, you're going to miss out on a lot of the fun single track. So I recommend making the turn, and pretty soon we'll be coming up on some more sections where we do have choices to make, and once we get there, we'll be back. Stay tuned. Alright, so we took the right. Now we got a little bit more climbing. Then we're going to come upon another intersection. You can go either way to access the top of Black Mountain. If you go left, it'll kind of take you straight there. If you go right, it's a little roundabout way.
Left has more hikers.
Left has a lot more hikers. If you go right, it'll also give you quicker access to Manzanita. So with that hiker conversation, this is a bell on area if you have one. Let the downhill fun begin. Morning. Alright, right here we have a hard right. If you go straight, it'll take you on that nice technical climb. We have a hiker down here, so we're going to give them a little space before we take it. And if you just look at the signage here, straight will continue on Nighthawk, take you towards the top of Black Mountain. If you take this hard right into this little dip, then it'll take you closer to Manzanita. This has a really good climb on it, almost a G-out climb if you want to come into it in a higher gear and really pound the pedals as soon as you can. If you try to stay in your lowest gear and spin it, chances are you're not going to pull out of this.
You're not. I've tried it both ways.
Yep.
If you got any mojo, you use a little mojo right now. Burn one of your matches.
All right, let's hit it. There we go. All right. Now that we made the little G out, we can downshift a little. Coming up on your left. Thank you. Got 3 more guys.
Okay.
Whew. My cardio is down. All right, so coming up on another intersection, very well marked. I like to go left here. I think it's more fun, but you can absolutely take a right and hit the same trails. More to come. All right, so we went straight at that last intersection, and we're going to climb up to our next intersection, where we can either head up towards Manzanita, or we can make our way towards the peak of Black Mountain and the Miners Loop area. Today, we're going to do Miners Loop first, and then come back down and probably hit Manzanita later. If we have time, we'll see. And there's Rob waiting for us.
All right, so we just did that first section of Black Mountain. You get to this really cool REI bike stand that San Diego Mountain Bike Association helped with. And then you got a choice right now. We're gonna make, I guess coming up, it's a left. This is a connector route, super fun coming down. Going up is pretty technical, pretty narrow, pretty steep, with a couple of step ups. I myself have never made this climb. I don't even think I've gotten too close to making this climb, and Chris Never Miss Wessels always makes this climb, so you decide.
So I'll bring you some video of the climb. I don't know if I'm going to film the whole thing. I want this video to have some downhill stuff in it too.
Yeah.
But I'll start it so you can get a look, and then I'll decide later. Everybody ready?
See you later.
Let's do it. So for me, climbing is a necessary evil. I hate climbing. I know there's a lot of you out there that like it. I do it to get the downhills. I love going downhill. I also understand the fitness aspect, especially as I'm getting older and having more trouble staying in shape. I should be climbing, but that's not going to make me enjoy it. Necessary evil for me. You form your own opinion. So, this is the hardest part right here. Oh, Because Rob said I never miss, I missed. I think you cursed me, Rob. Yeah, this section's a little bit more washed out than it has been. Oh. And we're about done. So once we get to the fun stuff, I'll bring you back. All right, so we just finished our climb. We're at our next intersection. Here we are going to take a right. If you go right, you have options. You can take this all the way up to Black Mountain and hit the peak, come down some various different ways that way, or you can connect to Miners Loop, which is exactly what we're going to do. So as we get closer to Miners, I'll bring you back. This is all really just connector stuff. Nothing too fun, nothing too crazy. So right past the Miners turnoff, there is a really nasty, pretty steep rock garden. I have yet been able to climb it, but it's a fun little hike-a-bike in order to come back down. So we're gonna bring you that real quick, and then we'll drop into Miners. So we're coming up on Miners right now. If you don't want to do this rock garden, stay straight. If you want to hit this craziness coming down, you take a left. See how far I can get. That's it. Ooh, Mark's going for it. Nice, Mark. All right, so we are about to drop into that gnarly little connector we just climbed up.
There's some hikers. We're kind of giving them a minute.
I'm going to follow Dan down so you guys can get a look at what it looks like. This is a bells on section. There are a lot of hikers.
Full party mode.
And we're coming down fast.
Open
you ready?
up that suspension.
Yeah, open up that suspension if you got it.
Oh, no, lock it.
All right. That was a weird line. That's like a very weird line.
Who?
Me.
What?
I just did. I don't know. It just
It's
happened.
actually not a bad line down there. If you follow the main trail, it's actually not that bad at all.
All right, so that was the connector. We turn around right here, and we're gonna go hit Miners.
That was kind of fun. I enjoyed that one. Better than last time. Last time I was stuck.
We're gonna follow Sunglass Rob down Miners here. Oh, okay.
It's a little rough for me.
So this is the Miners connector. There's only one turn off, and we're gonna take a nice hard right there to actually drop into Miners Loop. Here we go. Fun little bridge. So this area, I've only ridden a few times. It's semi-technical. You have some good ups and downs. Nothing that's gonna completely throw you. So just be ready. You will be running through your gears out here. You get a little bit of flow too. I'm actually gonna let Dan pass me right up here so you guys can see what it looks like following a biker. Go ahead, Dan. And Dan, when we get to that junction, take a right.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the line is. Rob said probably outside. Yeah, he said probably outside line. We'll see. I just knocked my hand pretty good on a tree branch. So be aware that those are here. Oop. Yeah, outside. Hard right, hard right. Whew.
That was fun.
Caught my hand on a branch hard.
I enjoyed that.
That was fun.
Go up there.
He's coming.
Here's a straight shot all the way.
I think so. Rob, straight shot all the way?
Yeah.
Straight shot all the way? Let's do it.
Ooh.
Now we're officially into minors. It is super, super sandy. So I'm going to give Dan a little space so that we can actually see the trail. So you can see him ripping down, taking a very good speed. Ooh, little rock jump. Oh, this is fun. Rock jumps everywhere. This is definitely a seat down trail if you have a dropper. If you don't have a dropper, I would stop and drop it. I haven't put mine up once since we took that right. Ooh, little branches. If you are a bigger guy like me, be aware of those. Smaller guys on the medium frames, you'll probably be fine. Ooh, this is fun. Ooh, hard left. Wasn't ready for that. So we just passed the viewpoint. We're not dropping into that. We're going straight. A little climb. And now it's flattened out a little bit. I just put my seat up right at that climb. We got a little pedal section. Give your hand a brake. But that was some fun, fast, techie downhill. I'll give that a 8 out of 10 fun factor. What do you think, Dan? I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10 fun factor.
Absolutely, that was amazing. That was so much fun. There's not much not to like about that.
If you enjoy technical downhills, that is your jam. Wish I would have known this was here. Oh, not bad.
That was fun.
Ooh, that was a good little section. If you're ready for it, at least.
What the hell's going on right now?
You just didn't know it was coming. The only reason I made it is because I saw you do it first.
Amateur status.
I think there's a little pressure with the camera too.
What?
A little pressure with the camera.
Yeah. Wow.
So while we're let's actually slow down for a second, Dan. So while we're waiting for our buddies to catch up. Oh man, that would have been. Let's hike back up. I want to air through that.
Man, I tell you one thing. Here's where that bike comes alive. I almost felt nothing going down that rocky section.
So while we are waiting for our buddies to catch up, it's a good opportunity to talk about riding within your limits. That was a fast, techie downhill. If you're not comfortable doing that, slow down a little bit. No big deal. It's a really cool section right there. We want more speed for it. Right here should be fine.
That's fun.
It's just got a really good little rock jump on it.
Nice. Oh, I enjoy that.
So, you know, if you're not comfortable in techie downhills, take that easy. That was for real. That was a for real section. I actually felt a little undergunned on my 29 plus hardtail, which is rare. That's one where I prefer my enduro bike for sure. So next time I ride this trail, I will be bringing it to you on my enduro bike. All right, I'm going to pause for a second while we're waiting for the rest of our group.
Up that rock garden.
Oh yeah, we're going to be hacking that.
In my opinion, let's see what you guys think.
All right, you ready, Dan?
I am ready.
I'm going to give you a little space to bring the dust cloud level down.
Yeah, it's super.
Oh, that was fun. I took kind of a weird inside line. It threw me off balance a little bit, but still a fun little intersection. I think if I'm coming to that full speed on my full suspension, then I'll go right down the middle, and that should be a pretty easy little jump. There are some fun rock jumps on this thing. All right, so we're mellowing out right now. We're at our next intersection where it says Miners Ridge Loop. And it looks like we can go right or left. We're going to go left to take us back up to the top. If you take a right, you can continue downhill and it takes you all the way to the bottom of the mountain, correct?
Yeah.
And then you'll have a fire road climb out. We'll bring you that route on a different day.
Absolutely.
We're going to climb back and then go hit Manzanita. So I'm going to bring you the first part of this climb. That way when you do come do this ride, you know what we're looking at. And it's already stupid. Oh my God. So we're trying to pedal this despite Rob's warning that we probably can't. We're going to see how far we can get. This is how far we can get.
Worse?
It's a little steeper on the switchbacks, I think. So if you've ever done Cowles Mountain, this is very Cowles Mountain-esque. A little steeper.
And more rocks.
We'll bring you back at the top. So we are towards the end of that hike-a-bike section. It has some spots you can ride, but the majority of it is just terrible technical switchbacks. So from here, we're gonna get back into Miners, and then we're going again. Morning, guys. I think we've done what, 5 miles now? No, guys, something like that.
3.5.
3.5 miles.
What?
I bet we have at least 1,000 feet climbing.
That's what
And this ride's no joke. So for your cardio, make sure it's at least somewhat existent if you're going to do this ride. I feel like ours is okay, and I'm dying, so something to consider. We just finished up that hike-a-bike.
1,100 feet.
At the top of the hike-a-bike, we're taking a left. Did you say 1,100 feet? So we've done 1,100 feet over 3.5 miles so far. This will dump us back into Miners if we take a left here. And then we're going to come out back on Black Mountain. Well, we're still on Black Mountain, but back towards where we were on Black Mountain. And then I think we're going to do some Manzanita stuff. So stay tuned.
But I don't see how to do it.
All right, we just climbed out of Miners Loop. It was super easy. I smoked all these guys. I cleared the whole thing. Every switchback, I just floated. I kind of did it on a front wheelie, most of it. Now we're going to do, you don't want to go to Glider's Point. It's a black diamond. It's pointless. It's all rutted out. It's no fun. So we're going to go back towards Nighthawk. There's a little connector trail. Definitely some pedaling. It's up and down. A couple of tech sections. There's one rock garden, which I don't think is rollable. I think it's a drop. And it's, I just fly right over the whole thing. I don't even see the dirt. I definitely won't be in the back walking.
Yeah, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go for it.
Okay.
This is climbing, right?
It's a mix. Here we go. We saw some hikers earlier, so I'm going to put my bell on for now. And then if we get past them, I'll turn it off so it's not driving you guys crazy. But for these trails, bells are always a good idea. We're all using the timber bell so we can turn it on and off, which makes for a lot more fun. That way it's not always driving us nuts. Oh, shit, I was not ready for that. Wrong gear.
We're going good, too.
We were. Thanks, guys. Wrong gear. Alright, bell off for a minute. The other set of hikers are a little further up. As we get closer, I'll pop it back on. So yeah, anyway, timber bell. Turning it on and off is nice. Oh, these climbs are no joke either. Pretty steep, definitely technical. Thanks, ladies. Got 3 more riders coming. So, we're climbing. For places like Black Mountain and all the other, I can't breathe, all the other open space areas in San Diego, remember that it is multi-use. Be courteous. Most hikers will happily step aside and let you pass, even though they technically have the right of way, especially if you have a bell. So, if you don't have one, something to consider. Ooh. Thanks, guys. I've got 4 total. That was a fun little section. Cool little rock roll. See what Rob was talking about? It's definitely steep, but I just did it on my hardtail, so it's more doable than he thinks. So one of the things that I'm finding about these shows at Black Mountain is it has your choose your own adventure feel. You can go around the techie features, you can go over them. There's some potential air sections. So it really is kind of a place where you can come as an intermediate rider and still have fun, an advanced rider and have lots of fun. If you consider yourself a beginner, I'd probably stay away for now. I think we want to turn right there.
The turn?
Yep.
Serious?
Yeah. Let's go back.
Oh, that's where it turned off right.
Yep, we want to turn there. So we're going to turn, and that'll take us back to Miners. Alright, so we're back. Still in that Miners loop connector. Following Rob down it. And my front brake has stopped working. That's fun. Thanks, guys. Just one more. There we go. It's coming back. I think the fluid just got a little off. Thank you. One more. Alright, so we're back with the group. At this point, we're backtracking. So once you pop out on Miners, take a left, and that'll put us back on some double track fire roadish. We're gonna go down this for just a little bit, and then we're gonna take a left turn, and that'll put us into a really fun drop. So that's that hill that we came up earlier where Rob told you that I never miss, and I missed. We're gonna go down that.
Well, it's so dramatic.
And it's lots of fun.
Okay, you already go.
Mark, you want me to jump in front?
Sure.
So, this is one where you can carry some speed. There's a little rock roll up here that's very doable if you like rolling rocks. It's more of a rock stack up here on the right. I'll hit it. Just something a little bit different. Hard right, and let the fun begin. So this thing is a good check flow mix. Definitely want to drop your seat before you get into it. You can pedal through if you're trying to get a Strava record. You can also just kind of let go of the brakes and flow through it. There's some good little jumps on it. And it's much more fun going down than it is coming up. All right, so you should recognize this from earlier. take a right, and that'll take us back towards Sun Devil Way. If we go straight, that'll take us up to Manzanita, which Dan and I are going to do. We'll see if anybody else joins us. Hold up. And hopefully I can bring you some Manzanita footage. My battery's getting low. We'll see. Stay tuned.
So I can get by these runners?
Yeah, you're
it's
good.
pretty wide. There's a couple lanes.
All right, so we're going to go up to the Manzanita loop. Very fun trail. Little climb here.
Are you just telling us or you're recording?
Both.
Cool.
Yeah, because I do that. So we got a little climb. It's very doable. You have anything else you want to add, Rob?
Just making sure we're not being too serious on our bikes. That's all. That's my job. We're fun factor.
Rob's our fun factor.
It's a connector loop. It's hard climb. It's technical. Be in shape. I'm not. Let's go. Get out of party mode.
Oh, man. So this thing is super fun coming down. You can do like some little mini wall rides. It's actually got some decent flow. We'll be coming down this later. And I can't wait. More to come. So we just popped out of the connector, took a left. Straight ahead is our Manzanita loop. We can ride this clockwise or counterclockwise. Either way, it's very fun. I think I prefer clockwise. Actually, I take that back. I prefer counterclockwise. So 1.6 mile loop, lots of fun. We're gonna start here in just a minute. All right, so we're going counterclockwise, starting with a little climb. This is a trail that, in its 1.6 mile glory, we'll be doing a lot of pedaling, a couple good little climbs, some really fun downhills, and a couple very technical rock gardens. But all of it's very fun. It's all very doable. For this one, I'd say if you're an intermediate rider, you'll be fine. If you're still learning, maybe, but it'll definitely be difficult. If you're an advanced rider, still tons of fun. All right. This first downhill section we're going to get into in a minute starts with a good little techie climb that I make most of the time. It just has one little rock in there. It really kills your flow. And it's in the steepest part of the trail. But whatever. It is what it is. So through here you will see lots of turnoffs. My advice is just don't take them. I've been down a few just to see where they go. And they kind of go nowhere. One of them takes you all the way down to the road, I think. It was a fun downhill, but man, it sucked coming back up. So, if you are out here and you're not sure which way you should go, just look at the trail that's obviously most taken, and that's your line. Most of it's marked pretty well. There are a couple little turnoffs that could kind of throw you for a loop. Alright, here is that little climb. Come around this corner, getting something a little techier. Right here. That wasn't bad today. So, this is a trail where it pays to have a dropper post. It is by no means a seat down all the time trail, but there are some spots where you want your seat down. So, I would say a dropper post is a must. And on just dropper posts in general, if it's something you're considering and you don't have it yet, do yourself a favor and buy it. Dropper posts have changed the way I ride. And I know Dan will tell you the same thing. We've been riding a long time, both of us, and go through it for a very long time without dropper posts. I was late to the game. on dropper boats, but they make a huge difference. It's worth every penny. There's some that are definitely better than others. So do your research. You don't have to have the best one as long as it functions. And honestly, the best ones don't always function that well. My RockShox reverb that I have on my Slash just stopped working after 8 months. Luckily, it was still under warranty. But so I got a free one. But if it goes out again, it's not under warranty anymore. And I'll be looking for a much more affordable option. I think those things retail for like $350. Anyways, enough about dropper posts. So, as you can see, some fun techie downhills, some good techie climbs, and the trail where we pedal. As long as you don't mind pedaling, this thing's fun. Wow, it's super soft. Oh, wrong gear. I find that happening a lot. On this loop especially. I was being in the wrong gear. Make a little section. Actually, I have to go over the rock right there. That's just my preference. Sometimes going over rocks will create a much better line. That's a good example. A lot of people, especially your newer riders, will just try to avoid them. That can actually make your ride a lot more difficult. So open yourself up to considering rocks as lines, and you'd be surprised what can happen. You can also just really increase that fun factor. So speaking of fun factors, I would give this one like a 6.5. Very fun trail. Not the funnest trail I've ever done. And it's a work. So a little intro for today's Black Mountain ride. We had a couple technical difficulties. My battery died and I did not have a spare. Amateur move, I know. So just want to let you guys know we did cut off halfway through Manzanita. I will be bringing you Black Mountain again in its full glory, but we still got a lot of the fun stuff, Miners Loop, a good little technical downhill, and the stuff that really matters. Also, just a quick look at what our bikes look like after today's ride. It was incredibly loose and sandy. There was probably a 3-inch layer of just dust. So if you plan on doing this ride in the near future, be aware of that. You may notice a little dust on the camera lens, and it was crazy. I don't think I've ever been quite this dirty before, and this is after resting for a little bit. So just a couple things before we get going, and once again I will be bringing you Black Mountain again soon in its full glory. So we just finished up Black Mountain. A couple final thoughts for you. So I would say that this is definitely an intermediate to advanced ride. If you still consider yourself a beginning rider, it's probably not the best place. When you take a look at my Strava, you'll see that we did about 10 miles, and I think it was close to 1,600 feet climbing, 1,100 of which we did in the first 3.5 miles. So this is a place where fitness is definitely important, and I mean, you heard me through the video. I was huffing and puffing through half of it. So be prepared to come with your climbing legs. That said, you get the payoff. The downhills are definitely worth the climbs. So for a fun factor, overall, I'm going to call Black Mountain a 7 out of 10 For a cardio factor, I'm going to give it probably an 8 out of 10 just due to the climbing, not necessarily the distance. And then a tech factor, also going to give this one an 8 out of 10. It's a very rocky technical ride. Once again, it is an open space area. A bell is good. I tried to turn my bell off as much as I could so it doesn't drive you guys crazy in the videos. But there are a lot of hikers and they definitely appreciate the bells. And if you have a bell, there's a good chance they're going to sidestep and just let you go. So, those are my final thoughts for Black Mountain. If you enjoyed, please like my video. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to bring you new content every week. And as always, if you want to do this ride, check out my Strava.